everyone, it's Sarina Fazan, and welcome to On the Record. It's my favorite day of the week. It's Wednesday. We get to go live on the show, and I have two superstars here with me. I'm so excited. Brian Kornfeld, Synapse. I have been waiting to have you on the show, so thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad I got the invite and we can make this work.
Oh my gosh, and Preston Rudie, okay, Catalyst Communications Group, but of course, amazing investigative reporter. How many Emmys have you won again?
24.
Okay, 24. And I'm not even counting all the other amazing awards that you have. But okay, yeah. So thank you guys so much for being here. I mean, I think you can give us some great advice about business, about moving forward. But let's get started with what you do. So Brian, I have had the honor of being your MC for Synapse for a couple of years. But a lot of people are like, what's Synapse?
It's a great question, and unfortunately, we're 24 Emmy short, so we're going to have to work on that a little bit. No, Synapse is a nonprofit community-building organization with a vision of making Florida a great place to start companies, grow companies, move companies, really build up that innovation community and create and enable opportunities for people all across the state that may not have been present for them before, whether it's with connection, organization, or really celebrating the great stuff that we have going on already across the Sunshine State.
I have so many questions on your statement. So Preston, tell us a bit about Catalyst Communications Group, and when did you leave news to start your company?
So I left news back in 2014 is when I left Channel 10 for people that are, still watch.
It's a CBS, it's just so people know.
Affiliate,
because this, actually now, I mean, people in France are like watching my shows, so thank you, in Canada. So it is a CBS affiliate here in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, so I left in 2014 and went to work for a member of Congress, going between here and Washington, D.C. for 3 years while Congressman David Jolly was in office. And when David left office, I kind of had to figure out, what do I want to do? Didn't really want to go back into news. And so ultimately, I had a number of opportunities that were given or presented to themselves to me that allowed me to start my own company. And so we started a consulting company, which is primarily a media and public affairs consulting firm. And so when I try to describe it to people, it's kind of a mix of, we have about a third of our clients are elected officials, a third are nonprofits and public agencies, and a third are private businesses, for-profit businesses. So it's just kind of fallen into those three buckets, and we continue to grow and love our clients and love the work that we've been able to do.
No, it's awesome and amazing. That's why I wanted the two of you here together. So Preston, when you hear what Brian is doing, what are your immediate thoughts on that?
Well, the one thing that I love that we were talking about before we went on the air was just kind of the collaboration, working in that kind of environment. Even in the space that I work in, you would think that, well, there's competition amongst firms or individuals, that kind of thing. But honestly, I think that my philosophy, both with our company but also across the board, is, look, if you have an issue or you have a problem, Sarina, we can talk about it and I can give you an answer. But I think if Brian and I are here together and we talk about it, we're going to come up with a better answer, because I think collectively we're always stronger. And so with Synapse, I love the fact that they're at Embark, and it's kind of in that setting, that incubator setting, to kind of work maybe with others, have those relationships. You never know when you might have an idea or something that might be able to benefit somebody else.
And Brian, tell us about that. So tell us, what gave you the idea for Synapse? And when Preston was talking about Embark, tell us about that space.
Yeah, I can start with the second part of that. The Embark space has been great, and having moved our offices there, of course, right, it was March 1st, 2020, the first day of our lease, right before some giant pandemic came and hit us. It was a necessary move for our organization to really show collaboration between other leadership within the community. In other major markets, if you look at Silicon Valley and Chicago, there's a lot of groups who work together because they understand that this is all not a zero-sum game. Yeah. And going back a couple of short years ago, in this market in Tampa Bay or across Florida, there was a lot more competition amongst similar types of organizations or amongst the nonprofits, the community building organizations, thinking they're all fighting over the same dollars, the same grants, same sponsorship, whatever it may be. But really, they're not. If you think about it in a bigger picture, it's about bringing new people into the community and getting more people under the tent and getting the right people there who can invest in the right ways in the organizations. By having our office in with another similar but different organization, it shows a partnership. It shows that we're going to put our money where our mouth is and our offices where our ideals are, and that's to actually show it. Now, where Synapse actually came from is because in 2016, that wasn't happening. In 2016, it was a little bit of an every person for themselves, but it was all happening behind the scenes and behind the radar. So I was actually struggling. I was working in a large organization. I knew it was not for me. I had a side hustle startup that was doing okay, but not enough to pay for a mortgage and kids and preschool and everything ongoing. So I started to look into a little bit of why. Why is this not happening? Why is this not taking off? Is it because of me? Am I not ready? Is it because it's a side hustle and not work and not my full-time focus? Or is it the market? Is Tampa Bay not ripe for this? And it just so happened, right, April 1st, 2016, I had a chance to meet a gentleman named Jeff Vinnick, who people around here all know. For people watching in France, he's the chairman and governor of the Tampa Bay Lightning, former hedge fund manager, and does a lot in terms of investing and in terms of the market between real estate technology. At that time, he wasn't as involved with technology. And he first started talking about Innovation Hub. So I went and I talked to him about it. And then when he took that meeting with me, I had to really dig in and do research and realized a lot of the core problems. A couple of months later, I ended up meeting another gentleman named Mark Blumenthal. And Mark and I met at a 4th of July party, having a couple of beverages, we'll say, and talking over the barbecue, and realized he was doing the same research and just saw how inefficient this area was to grow a company or to build a company or to really scale. And it was all just based on this inability to connect and connect rapidly and make meaningful connections. And when we started to put our research together, we set up a meeting and we said, all right, let's talk for 30 minutes. And that turned into 2 hours really quickly, which turned into what we know today as Synapse.
Oh my gosh, okay, Preston, I know with your journalistic hat on right now that you have a bunch of questions. Well, but can I just say really quickly, April 1st, by the way, you know, I feel like I believe in signs and all that stuff, is my birthday. So,
really?
And when you mentioned April 1st, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've wanted you both on the show forever. And yeah, so anyway.
That's not a delayed April Fool's Day joke?
Yeah, it's not as late, I promise. But Preston, I could see him already.
Well, you said a couple of things, but first, you know, when we talk about like a talent pool, I think that is real, right? Companies want to know that there is a good talent pool where they're going to start or where they're going to move to. And I think what you are kind of recognizing or had recognized was the fact that we need to do more to grow a talent pool. You know, this area has a lot of great minds and you know, younger people coming up that they'll go away to school, right? We need to give them a reason to continue to come back, or people that want to, let's say, live in the Northeast or the Midwest, where I'm from, to come down here to Tampa, to come down to the Tampa Bay region, because there's great opportunities. So if I come down here, and let's say I work with company X, and it's going okay, but it's not quite what I thought it was going to be. Maybe there's another opportunity. I don't have to relocate to another area. And look, just like what you were saying about, you know, getting together with somebody and sharing some ideas outside of work, right? Maybe you work for different companies. You're in the same field. You're in the same area of technology, whatever it may be. It's good to be able to have people that you can talk to, that you can have peers in. And I think, you know, really what you're striking on is we need to do something to grow talent pools here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's a lot of a mindset shift of talent, who talent is and where they're coming from, and taking advantage and piggybacking on this pandemic, which has been unfortunate for so many people. But a lot of people have wanted to move to Florida based on that, and whether it's because of tax reasons or lifestyle or having more space than in a major market and affordability, there's a lot more of a talent pool here than there's ever been before, and more of a reason to attract further talent. And it's not just the first wave of talent. We have great universities here. People are graduating all the time. But what is the second, the third, the senior wave of talent? If someone wants to hire a chief revenue officer, how do you make sure that they can come here and know that their spouse can have a job, their kids are taken care of in school, and what can happen if it doesn't work out, not wanting to move an entire family a couple of times over? We've had a great untapped talent pool, by the way, which is our veterans and the special operators community out of MacDill Air Force Base for a number of years. I think we're finally realizing just how to access these talent pools and help people like me who moved away for a number of years. I'm a native of Clearwater, went to high school at Berkeley, and I moved back here after living in Los Angeles for a couple of years, realizing there are these opportunities here.
You know, and you just said something too about like the family, right? How important that is. So I work with a CEO, and in the cultural, we'll say the cultural attractions space of the Tampa Bay region. And his experience was that, look, when he was in Chicago, when they would have major employers that would come, they would try to make sure that the entire family came along, because while one individual with the family, whether it be the husband or the wife, they might go off and meet with the company. The rest of the family, they would go off and they would have all these things. We'd go to the aquarium, they'd go to the planetarium, so that when they were on that plane ride going back, what they were having that conversation is, oh my gosh, we loved it here, right? And so when you're looking at the Tampa Bay region and growing and so forth, that also has to be part of the play as a community overall. Like, when we're recruiting companies, when we're trying to get people to come here, it's like, you know what, we have all these great cultural attractions, we have so many great things to do, and the natural aspects of this, right? So that there's like a real strong desire to say, that's where I want to live, that's where I want to grow my company, that's where I want to locate to.
So where do you both see Tampa going? I mean, I love Tampa, and Brian, I mean, right now, as you even mentioned, there's a lot more opportunity right now. Where do you guys see Tampa going?
I see us growing in a big way. The whole Tampa Bay market, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, the surrounding areas. If you look at what's going on in the residential real estate market right now, it's been crazy. I see more companies moving here. I see more companies potentially growing and building here. One of the things that I found to be very fascinating, I was talking to a friend out of Miami who's been loving what's going on in the tech scene in Miami. There's so many investors moving to Miami. There's a couple of companies. And I asked, what's it like with the founders there? How many early stage companies are there? And he said, well, there's a little bit of a lack. Okay, well that tells me that they're kind of building from outside and there's a chance for things to bubble. Here we're really building up that infrastructure for long-term stability. So while we may never be Silicon Valley or Chicago, and we should never try to be, we should be the best possible Tampa Bay region that we can and really set up this infrastructure. We're building from the ground floor up for long-term sustainable growth. And by doing what we're doing and by actually taking advantage of, here's our story, here's what we have, here is the companies that have done it well and have been successful. You have these opportunities here. Now, more people are going to see it, more people are going to leverage it.
I love what you said about not trying to copy Silicon Valley or New York City.
You can't.
Preston, right? We can't, right? Preston, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
on
well, the
where
one thing
Tampa's
I
going?
will say this: the one thing that this community, and I say this community meaning both Hillsborough and Pinellas, they are going to have to invest in transit and transportation. You see it. So I'm somebody we lived in New Tampa for basically 8 years, and that commute, especially over the last 3 years, pre-pandemic. You could see almost every couple of months it just getting worse and worse and worse. That will eventually, I think, stymie some of our growth. But if we can address those needs in our community, I think we'll continue to attract companies and individuals from regions like the Northeast or the Midwest. Because look, the reality of it is, the pandemic has taught us that we can work from home, or at least a lot of us can work from home, and we can still be efficient at our jobs. Well, look, if you're telling me that I can work from home and I can maybe go to the beach in the evening or on the weekends and I don't have to take an airline flight to get away or whatever, I think you're going to see people are going to say, you know what, I want to live in Florida where I'm not having a state income tax and I don't have to deal with winter, so let me move down here or let me move my company down here. And the other thing is that when I look at the Tampa Bay region, like for example, Wesley Chapel in the Wiregrass region. J.D. Porter, I know that he's got a big vision what he wants to do, but those are areas that we still have in the Tampa Bay region that are large pockets of land where they want to bring companies in, that a company can still not only relocate if they want to have significant office space, but here's the other thing. If they were to relocate to places like that, if you're the CEO or you're high up in the company, you can also live 10 minutes from that place of employment. So you can be in your office in 10 minutes or you can go right back home. And you can't always do that in some of these larger communities. Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Chicago. You can live way out in the suburbs or you can move to the suburbs of the company. But so there's a lot of flexibility in terms of our growth and what we're going to see happen. But I don't see the number of people that are moving to Florida, moving to the Tampa Bay region slowing down at all in the next couple of years.
So some dream companies that you guys would like to see here. We love the companies that we have, but are there but are there dream companies that you see making this as a home base?
To me, I mean, it's always easy to give a big name, and I know we were a part of the Amazon search a couple of years ago. I would rather see us build something from within or take a company, and I'm going to say a name that is not a household name. It's called OpSWAT. They moved here from San Francisco, moved their headquarters here. They're a growing cybersecurity company right now, and taking a company that's in the growth stage and really leveraging that level of growth and understanding that here in this market, you don't have to be a Facebook, Twitter, Google to really stand out and to be a leader. You have the opportunity to create yourself as a leader here versus coming in from the outside. And I think that will also tell a story that would be a longer term, sustainable story versus Microsoft planting a flag here and saying headquarters, next headquarters here, let's hire a bunch of people. If you can grow from within, it tells the story that also can help create generational wealth or more generations of investors and more potential companies.
I also do think that there's I also do think,
Okay.
Brian, that there's more community pride when it's a company that grew in your community that kind of sprout up from, or sprang up from this region,
See what I mean, guys? Such inspirations. That's why we're going to go to a break. And when we come back, I want to get personal. Like, I want you guys to give advice to people out there that might be, they may want to start their own company or, what they do. And I have goosebumps with what you guys are talking about. You're right. Let's build up a company that we already have. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll be right back. I'm Sarina Fazan, and like most people, my skin is a priority. When you look good, you feel good. That's why I turned to South Tampa Dermatology, a full-service medical and cosmetic dermatology practice. Dr. Flynn and her dream team offer the products, services, and procedures I need to keep my skin healthy so I can perform at my very best, and they can do the very same thing for you. It's affordable, and your confidence is priceless. Just head to stderm.com or call 813-872-9551 to make an appointment. I'm Sarina Fazan. We're all so busy, and if you're like me, laundry is at the bottom of your to-do list.
If only you could take care of it in a zip, right? Well, I have news for you. With Zips Dry Cleaners in South Tampa, you can. Affordable, fast, and stress-free. That's why Zips is Tampa's favorite dry cleaners. For just 99 cents a pound, Zips will wash and fold your laundry for you. Just drop off your dirty laundry before 9 a.m. and you'll have it back, fresh and clean, the very next day. Have dry cleaning too? Drop it off by 9 a.m. and it will be ready the same day by 5 p.m. for just $2.49 an item.
And even more convenient, Zips will drop off your dry cleaning and your laundry for a small added fee. Zips didn't invent dry cleaning, but they perfected it. Stop by and see for yourself. So we're back, and we've been talking a lot during the commercial break. I'm like, I wonder if the mics are on, but this is a fascinating conversation. Just carry it on, Brian, what you were talking about and the advice that you were giving. Oh, for those who are just joining us, though, I want to introduce my guest today, Brian Kornfeld, of course, the founder of Synapse, and Preston Rudie, the founder of Catalyst Communications Group. Love having you both on.
So during the commercial, we were talking about collaboration, particularly with startups and earlier stage companies and how it can help. And a lot of people who are getting into this world, they might be an entrepreneur for the first time. They've probably seen the movie The Social Network and see what it's like when you get an idea stolen and how bad it can be. There's a lot more to it than just having a good idea. Having a good idea is just the smallest step. There's so much execution. There's so many steps that go from having an idea to a unicorn-style exit and becoming a billionaire. Yeah. When you help other people, and you're willing to be collaborative and you're willing to share resources or share what you have or share what you know, that's when people also want to help you in return. Mm-hmm. And that's when it really can help tenfold over the long haul. And I actually helped build a lot of my career that way over the last, call it 5-8 years, of just, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? And then eventually when it came time, people were saying, oh, he's in it for the genuine reasons. He's not in it just to push himself forward. So let's try to give back a little bit as well and help in return. There's so many resources that can be shared. There's so many ideas and so many collaborative efforts. When you have more people contributing, your chances of success go up huge.
Yeah, it's all boats rise, right, is really what it is. Mm-hmm. And, you're talking, Brian, I'm thinking to myself, so often where I've had somebody, hey, do you know somebody that might be able to help me with this? Well, no, I can't, but you know what? It's connecting people when you have that community and you're kind of working together. Because, again, going back to maybe I don't have the answer, that's not really the space I'm good in, but you know what? Sarina may be the person you want to talk to. Let me connect you and she can help you. And you're right, that's going to come back to you tenfold when you do it that way.
And I think, too, Preston, you and I are journalists through and through, right? You can't take that out of us. You can sense genuine people. And I think that when you sense someone is genuine and wants to help, people are simple that way. You want to help people that you like, and
Correct.
you are genuine. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Totally. And it's funny when you talk about like helping people and so forth. It's funny when we sit down and we talk to potential clients. What I always tell them, it is kind of an interview process both ways. When somebody comes to us and they're looking at hiring our firm, I know that they're kind of interviewing us, but we interview them. And what I tell them is, look, our relationships with you and our clients are just as important with our relationships, whether it be with the media or with other strategists or whatever we're dealing with. Those relationships are so important, and I don't want to jeopardize those. So that's part of, like, is it a good fit for us as a company? Can you respect that? So you're working with people that kind of have a similar mindset.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the hardest things to ever do is to potentially say no to a client or
Yes,
push it aside.
that is true.
It's so hard to do, but sometimes things aren't the right fit. And there's always there's a great story I always love telling people with Southwest Airlines and Herb Keller. And there was someone who kept writing letters and saying, I can't believe you don't assign seats. I can't believe you don't do this. I can't believe you don't have first class. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to make me happy? And eventually he wrote this person a letter back and saying, dear sir, dear madam, we'll miss you, love Southwest Airlines. And that was it. It was just their way of saying, look, you're just not the right customer.
Right.
And as an entrepreneur, as someone running a company, as a founder, being able to do that can help you so much more in the end than just saying yes to everybody.
Yeah, we were talking before the show started, just kind of about like fit with the people that you work with, right? My philosophy with our company has always been crawl, walk, run. It's with that kind of with clients. I've taken a number of clients, and my wife jokes that I'm the worst business person in the world because I'll take some clients and just, look, I'll take care of that for you for free. We're not going to charge you for that. But it's a way for me to get to know them. They get to know us. But when we're looking at expanding and bringing people on, like as I was saying, we were interviewing somebody yesterday for a position, and I want to get to know them, and I want to make sure that first as an individual, that they're the kind of person that I would want to actually spend time with or be comfortable with my family around, that they're going to fit with everybody else. Because there may be some other skills that we can work on, but it's, do you fit within our company, and do you make us stronger? You're a good representative of our company. I mean, those things are important, and I think that makes you want to work that much harder as a group together when, it's kind of like you're in the same boat together because you all like each other.
Well, I might be opening up a can of worms here, though, but speaking of trying to hire somebody, so I was at a Give Back Tuesday event helping the American Cancer Society out, talking to Pilot Bank as well. And right now it seems very difficult to hire people because of the unemployment and then the stimulus and things like that. Have you both found that to be the case too?
Us personally, we haven't hired a lot. Well, we did hire somebody in December, and we didn't really have much issue. But anecdotally, people we're talking to, it has been really hard. People are just, it's not worth it. And when it's not worth it to do something, if I can get more money to do nothing versus get money to put in a lot of effort, there's reasoning behind it. Now, if I'm somebody in that position, I might be thinking about how am I collecting unemployment and maybe trying to launch something on my own at the same time and see if I can push myself forward, because eventually this is going to run out. And if you're thinking about it just in the short-term perspective, something's going to happen eventually, and it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, hasn't been the same for us. I've heard it certainly from a number of people in the community, not only here but also in Orlando. Same sort of thing. It's really hard to hire and fill positions. For us, the people that we're looking at are people generally that are already in the industry, recruiting, trying to say, hey, are you ready to leave? Let's say the news side of things. So we haven't really done that. And again, we're a little bit different. I did put out, it was interesting. We did an Indeed ad, or maybe I shouldn't have said who it was with.
I love it because you know what? No, even this simple type of stuff, because I don't know where to put ads out. So you put one out.
So
on
we
Indeed,
did, and it was funny. We started. I mean, it was just this avalanche of emails responding, and I had everything from a high school basketball coach to a principal and a baker, and I was like, do you guys even read what this is? I'm telling you what I want for background. But anyway, look, that's part of the process. You weed through, and I think the more time that you invest in those searches, hopefully you find a better candidate that fits for your company. That is really important, right? You have to invest time to find good people too. Yes. You have to go out and recruit. You have to have conversations. And it goes back to those relationships, right? Do you know somebody that might be a good fit? And Brian might be able to send somebody my way, or vice versa.
Well, so speaking of that, I promised we would get personal, because you both are amazing leaders and inspirational. Brian, you talked about like you were working in a company and then, it must have been scary to leave. Preston, very well respected in the market as a journalist, then working for an elected official. To start your own company, that had to have been, it's scary. I mean, I can tell you, I started mine, scared out of my mind. But your thoughts on that and your advice?
It is super scary. And take those calculated risks and understand what the calculated risk is. So for me, the first calculated risk really started with listening to Jeff Finnick talk, and then going up to him afterwards and trying to see if I could get a meeting with him. I was scared. I was shaking a little bit. I'd never met the guy. I grew up loving the Lightning. But I realized very quickly, if I go up and I ask him and talk to him and pitch myself, give an elevator pitch, and he says no, or he passes me to somebody else, or if I don't talk to him, that's the same result. The only way to get the result that I want is by going up, talking to him, and giving him the chance to say yes. So give yourself that chance for success. So many people, what they don't do is take that chance. And when you don't take the chance, you have no % chance of success. And it might be a small step and a small step and a small step until you realize, hey, I can do this. Actually, we had our marketing director just 2 weeks ago put in notice. Unfortunately, we love her. She's great because she wants to start her own agency. And she wants to take that entrepreneurial journey. And I commend her for it. I love the fact that she's doing it because she just realized if I never take this step, I'm never going to do it. And the last thing that you want to do is 20 years from now say, oh man, I wish I would have done X. Sometimes you're going to regret things you do, fail fast, fail small, but then realize you can find your way into that success. And if you could do that, the successful entrepreneurs, the successful people, the people everybody's heard about are people who have failed time and time again, and they've taken those steps and they haven't worked time and time again, but they've taken enough small steps to eventually they found the one that was the right one.
Yeah.
Very well said. How about you, Preston?
Well,
in
terms of the company, play to your strengths, know what your strengths are. So for us, or for me, it was kind of knowing what was I going to be good at, what could I deliver, and then finding clients that had a good match so that you know that you're performing and delivering for them. And that's why when you said earlier, one of the hardest things is to say no. That can be hard, but you also have to know, look, it's not a good fit. It's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to deliver for you. So at the end of the day, this is not going to be a relationship that's going to go very far. But the other thing is that make sure that you have somebody in your personal life, whether it be a spouse, a partner, whatever, somebody that's really there to support you, that can, be a sounding board from time to time, or at least, just give you some comfort when you don't have a great day, right? But if you have somebody that's kind of believes in you and is behind you, that goes a long way too towards success. But back to what I was saying earlier, my philosophy is always, again, surround yourself with good people and try to take kind of a collective approach. And I think you're going to be more successful when you can do that.
100%.
And do you guys both see more and more people now working from home since we've shown the world that it can happen?
Yep.
So how does that? Because it was really interesting before the show. We were talking about how you might be at home and all of a sudden the Today Show is on, or Good Morning America, or The Price is Right, or whatever it is.
Right.
You could get distracted. So what would you guys say about that and finding the right person, and how do you see the workplace in the future?
A lot of times when it comes to the right person, especially in this remote or this hybrid workforce, instead of asking people to give a certain number of hours, I ask them to complete tasks and give them very clear tasks that need to be completed. And if they can do that task in 4 hours, well, that means that there's more tasks that we can give to the person, but it's up to them to really work on it and to finish it and to do well. And if you see tasks falling behind, schedules not being met, things not working out, then that's when you know that the person really, they're not putting in the level of effort that they need to be able to put in. It really is a feel. If somebody comes in and they're like, I want to work remote, I'm only going to work remote, that's going to be a red flag to me.
Yeah.
That says that they want to do stuff in the background and behind the scenes, and they might not be giving their full effort and attention. If people come in and they show the right set of core values and they really are buying into a mission and they're really buying into succeeding in what you want to do, then they're going to want to get those tasks done and be able to earn that freedom and earn the right to be able to work from home versus it being kind of a given thing, even in this world.
I think just having that conversation on the front end. I mean, straight up, can you work at home? Can you be productive at home? You're going to be distracted. Do you need to be in a social environment, right? Like there are some people that they just need to be in an office setting where they're around other people. There are a lot of people that they don't want to work by themselves.
That's me.
In a home
I
office,
have to say,
right?
I love people.
Yeah.
I have to be around people.
And so I think it's having that frank discussion, and that will help you decide whether or not maybe it's a good fit or not a good fit.
And enabling the person to be honest in return. And knowing that if the person is not honest, you're going to find out really quickly as a leader, whether it's in a month or 2 months, but at some period of time, you're going to find out if they were honest with you or not, and that's going to tell you everything that you need to know.
I love what you said about the tasks. I think that's great, or the projects, you know. All right, I'm going to throw a total curveball at you. I know it's 12:30, but we were talking about sports. Let's talk about something fun.
Okay.
All right, so we heard Brian talking about how much he loves the Lightning. I mean, listen, I was telling you guys when the Super Bowl was here, I'm like, let's do 8 shows. Let's talk sports for at least 5 minutes. How exciting. What an exciting city we're living in right now. What did you guys say?
If you would have told 12-year-old Brian that this was going to happen, well, granted, the Rays didn't exist when I was 12 years old, the Devil Rays at the time, but it's so much fun, and being able to see all this happen and being able to celebrate it with my kids has been a blast, and getting to go to the Super Bowl in our home stadium and see the Bucks win, and with Tom Brady, and I went to Michigan, so Tom Brady, obviously a Michigan man as well. I'm speechless at points talking about it. It just makes us so happy and gives us something to brag about as a market when a lot of times outsiders from Florida or Tampa Bay think of us as the swampland for hurricanes and alligators, and there's really some great things that happen here.
Sports galvanizes a community, don't you think?
It does. Now, I will say this.
Okay.
I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm a Packers fan. I'm really not over the NFC Championship game, okay?
Thank you for kicking the field goal.
I was not cheering when the Bucks won, okay?
One of the few people that
it took me a while to come to grips with that. But, the thing I do feel bad about is I wish that this had not happened during the pandemic.
Right.
I've said this all along. Back when the Lightning won their first Stanley Cup championship, I had been only here, 3 years, I think it was. And, look, the Packers had won the Super Bowl once within a few years of that, back in '96. Anyway, so it hadn't been that long ago, and I'd gone to the Super Bowl and everything. But I've always told people this. Playoff hockey. Mm-hmm. There is nothing like it. It is more exciting. Mm-hmm. And last season, not to be able to have those games in Tampa was a bit heartbreaking. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs starting and the Lightning hoping repeating this coming season.
Well, you guys, I love your honesty too, Preston. Well, I loved having you on. We loved having you on the record. Is there anything, plug your companies again, any final thoughts before we close out the show?
Just thank you for having us. Check out Synapse, synapsefl.com. We have a lot of great things upcoming through the rest of the year. We're going to start to get back to in-person events later this year, which we're really excited to be able to do. We're going to do it safely. We're going to do it smartly. But stay in touch, and again, synapsefl.com, and just looking forward to continually being a part of this community.
And I'd love to be your MC again. I'll just put it out there. Preston, any final words from
MC,
you?
check, done.
Listen, I've always felt, our company grows through referrals, and that's how it's been. But, catalystcommunicationsgroup.com, you can go there, and just thank you for having us on today. It's great.
Absolutely, guys. It's people like you that make this community wonderful and amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. You can always follow me on all of my social media channels. I'm everywhere, Facebook, YouTube. I love this graphic that the guys created.
That's awesome.
I didn't even realize that I had so many things. But anyway,
my gosh.
Thanks again.
How do you have time for all that?
You need more. I think, was there TikTok on there?
I actually started, I had the #1
You're doing a TikTok video after this,
environmentalist on here. And so we did a TikTok, and we got up to 26 people. But 26 people. I need a few more. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you soon.